we're still here for business today. My name is ROUENAH KAJUMBA, and interesting discussion today. With me in studios is the ED of Uganda Export Promotion Board, but also in the capacity of the author of Why Africa Fails. Now, we've had this discussion before. So many things we've talked about, drawing us back from where we started, the colonial times, until where we are today. And he did mention some things one time. He said, we still are playing the blame game. What are we doing as citizens of this country of Uganda, as Africans? What are we doing? Are we doing this to ourselves anyway, to begin with? You're very welcome.
Thank you, and good morning, viewers, and I'm here excited to roll on.
Indeed. So you've been around, you've been in China, there's a number of
Sri
things.
Lanka, China, we had a very good time. We had 2 events in Beijing and Hunan, Changsha. We were lucky to have the president as our leader of delegation in Beijing and Changsha. And we had very interesting presentations. We signed a number of MOUs, government MOUs and private sector MOUs. But also we got deals. We got deals for flowers, we got deals for fish, we got deals for other agricultural products, including chia seed, including soybean, including other food products. But also we got partners in the private sector who are coming to produce for the Chinese market. And we also continued to interest the Chinese about our dried fruits. As you know, in Kapeka industrial area, we are already doing a good job. We have a partnership between Ugandans and Chinese, and that industrial area, including other things, textiles. But for China, we are exporting dried fruits from Kapeka industrial area with the partnership of Chinese. I tell you, you don't get those products. They are selling them on an online platform. Even our embassy is looking for these products, Ugandan products, to give them to people, even to serve them at important dinners and lunches. They can't get them. So the Chinese have decided to come and open another line under Kapeka to expand production. China is becoming a big market for us, but also we want partnership. We want a win-win relationship, and I think it is working. Yes,
because I was going to ask you, most people are a bit concerned in regards to how fast we're seeing the Asian continent really make a footprint or stamp within our countries. And like I like that you mentioned it's a win-win situation.
It's a win-win situation, ROUENAH, because what we have decided, and let me mention the most important other thing that happened. You see, in diplomacy, there are different layers of cooperation. Uganda's level of cooperation has now been put at the highest level between Uganda and the Chinese government. Our relationship now has gone a level higher above others, whether Asian, whether African or whatever. So our relationship has been put a step higher. So our relationship is now coming every day closer to a win-win situation. That we can listen to each other very fast, and this is very, very important. China is important in many things. I don't discuss politics, but you see, even the issue of geopolitics is very important for Africa and for our relationship in the world as Africa and Africans and as Ugandans. The second one is that it is a big market not only for the Africans but also for the Americans. We are all, you know, China has a big population. They used to be poor and emaciated. Now they are suffering from obesity and overweight. So we need this market.
Very interesting. But while you're doing that, you're having the Ugandan interests at heart and seeking to protect the Ugandan people here back at home, whether it's the farmers, whether it's anyone in any business dealing with the Chinese, right?
Yes. Actually, what we are doing is to make sure that it is a partnership. And our Ambassador Dr. Crispus Chionga has been emphasizing it every time we have had meetings with the Chinese business delegations. He said, come for a win-win situation. Let's work together to develop Uganda, to develop China, to develop the world. Therefore, you don't see a business whereby you don't see Ugandans participating. Where along the value chain, the beneficiaries are Ugandans and Chinese.
Okay. Now, as we're still on the issue of agriculture, which is some of the key things that we are going to look at in regards to our discussion. Now, the current situation, because you know, we're most, of course, like we know we're an agriculture-based country.
Yes.
Most of the things that we're actually exporting
Yes.
are agricultural produce. What's the current situation like? Of course, earlier on we were talking about the coffee situation at
Yes.
hand, but
Yes.
you know, generally.
First of all, and I'll come talk about that later, Rowena, you need to graduate away from agriculture. The history of human beings, which dates more than 4 million years away, about 4.5 million, when we originated from the something like the ape, like the Homo sapiens, was that we began as living in the bush globally, whether white, black, or Asian. All of them were living in the bush and were hunter-gatherers, gathering food, hunting, wild trees, wild food, wild nuts, wild tubers. Then they graduated to the level of agriculture. At the level of agriculture, we have other people being trades, which the president of Uganda has been talking about, the so-called myogas, trades, blacksmith. That's why you hear in the first best economist in the world was called Adam Smith.
Yes.
The word Smith meant he belonged to the Smiths. Locksmith. So blacksmiths, carpenters, welders, those who make pots, potters, not potters for carrying for. And then you had agriculture as important. And then you graduate from agriculture, and that's why you started in England with the Industrial Revolution, then agricultural revolution, sorry, and then you went to the Industrial Revolution. And from the Industrial Revolution, then Great Britain became very great, because then they had manufactured products which fetch a lot of money and which can be stored for a long time than agricultural products.
So when you're talking about graduating from agriculture to industrialization, you're talking about well, as much as we are agriculture based, we need to look at the value chain. And
value addition.
Yeah.
Value addition. For example, we talk about coffee. Coffee is very, very important for Uganda, and every year for a long time we have been getting more than 400 million US dollars. And these are coffee beans.
Yes.
We need to graduate to get. Do you know who makes more money? Switzerland. Does Switzerland grow coffee? No, because Switzerland is a businessman stroke businesswoman. They are dealers in coffee. And then you add some value and they get more money. And the person who adds the best value, the highest value, gets more money. We can't continue like this.
We sell our
yes,
in raw
we
form.
can even refuse to sell our coffee to the whole world in its raw form and agree that we add value here and we sell it to the world when we have added value. So when you add value, you are industrializing.
Yes.
Agro-processing and industrialization, which is being captured in NDP3. One of the pillars of NDP3, or one of the programs, because Uganda now is using what we call program-based approach. Program-based system. So everything will be put in programs. And one of the programs is agro-processing and industrialization. So that is very, very important. Rowena, America, only 3% of its people are in agriculture, and it contributes that much. Then you have other people migrate to industries. Yeah. I was in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, they don't produce cotton. We produce good cotton in Egypt. They don't produce cotton at all. But they account, textiles and apparel account for more than 40% of their exports. They don't have cotton, and they don't need to know cotton. You get what I mean? But all they do is they have factories on 4 acres, on 5 acres, whose role is to make shirts, T-shirts, trousers, suits, and they sell them to the designers of this world.
Oh, because you're giving them the the cotton in raw form, in plenty.
That's why we have to graduate. Agriculture is important, but we have to graduate from it. Countries cannot get rich and get out of poverty when they are purely an agricultural economy.
Okay. So this is important at this time because...
This is important, Rowena, at this time, because Uganda, you have heard that joke of Honorable Matia Kasaija that the economy has, but you see what he was trying. I think he would have been a good teacher because using gestures is very good to deliver messages.
Yeah.
So he was only saying that Uganda is now on the rails. Is about to take off. Because all what we call in economics initial conditions, most of the initial conditions have been met. We have been able, for example, to control inflation. The other day I was looking at inflation. There are people who have inflation of over 200%. And I was looking at Bloomberg, more than 20 countries in the world have inflation above 190%. And Uganda at one time was up there. Now we have controlled the inflation and we have brought it to below one single digit. And that is very, very important. We have been able to have roads, infrastructure is important. We are working on power stations. So once we have this electricity, for example, more than 2,000 megawatts, and we need more anyways, Ethiopia has got way more, then we need to take off. And for us to take off, we need factories, we need industries to use this power. One of the factories, for example, the Dongso, which is now in the east, which is working a lot to do phosphates, but also they are working on mining of iron, because iron and steel will be important. We can begin to export iron and steel products to China, and then China can use it to do other products. Is very, very important. But Dongso alone can take over 200 megawatts. So we need like 10 Dongsos to be able to evacuate the current
But the ones that are there
now
now are saying, well, the electricity is not quite affordable, for example, it's not enough and things like that.
In economics, like in industrial economics, we say the more you buy in bulk and process in bulk, and sell in bulk, the more you take advantages of economies of scale, economies of logistics and transport, economies of labor, saving, economies of power. So the more we have enough factories using electricity, and the more that when we sell smaller units, we get more money, because some of the power is lost. While power has been intermittent, meaning sometimes it is on and it is off. But even like at night, most Ugandans factories don't work at night, and I'm wondering why factories don't work at night. Who told them that they shouldn't work at night? Why aren't we working at night? Why do we have to work during the daytime? Are we birds that at night we might not, some birds cannot see at night, so they have to rest? So power has not been used so efficiently and effectively. But if we are taking all the power and using it very well, power will obviously go down. Its price will go down. Economics is very clear on that. 1 + 1 is 2 anyway. So it will not really...
Now, while we're speaking of some of these factors that are affecting, how does service delivery come in and play a role to link these two things? If we're looking at probably promoting, or rather graduating from our agricultural understanding of what agriculture is to industrialization. And of course, we've seen the president oftentimes talk about, well, we need to move from the subsistence way of doing things. And then try and move commercial. How does the aspect of service delivery come into play?
Now, there are like about a number of issues, and I'm happy that you talk about subsistence. That is more worse. That subsistence is the next stage after we graduated from being hunter-gatherers. You join the subsistence, which is a communal society, which is sometimes riddled with other problems of feudalism and the rest, whereby human beings work together, they dig together, they harvest together. You find them in the groups singing, and they are harvesting sorghum, they are harvesting kalo, millet, and all these things. When they need houses, and after all they are just mud and water around huts, they do it together. Living in subsistence in a non-monetary economy will not get anyone out of poverty. It means people are working for food. As we say in Uganda, working for your own stomachs, and it ends at stomachs We don't live to eat, we eat to live. Subsistence means, and you find them eating a lot of, because they have food. But their food is not bought in the market. So we need to graduate from that level. We need a commercial mind that even if you have 1 or 2 or 4 acres, it is that you think you first produce for the market and you eat subsistence. What we are doing now is sad. You consume the greater part of your production and you sell subsistence, if at all you do. Because the 68%, at times they go to 68% households in Uganda who are Nkolerubutos, who are working for their stomachs, who are in subsistence, they are not present in the market. Let me use the right word. They are not present in the market. You see, like Kenya joined the market a long time ago. Why? One of the reasons most Kenyans, not all Kenyans, have land. I'm not talking about that political, of course, and I'm not talking about Kenya. So, but in Uganda, most people access land, but they are not using it commercially. Everybody accesses land because he has to produce for the stomach. We need to graduate from that. We need to do commercial mind, and what we should be doing is attitude change. We need to invest a lot of money in attitude change. Change that one, and therefore we need to again begin to encourage people to produce products that sell in the market. You know, you don't have to produce everything you consume. You can even produce what you don't consume, but if you are getting a lot of money, the rest you will get it from the market. I have been encouraging people in other places that in addition to doing coffee, you can do it cocoa. Sure, the people will not eat cocoa until it is chocolate. And chocolate, they have to make it in factories, which is another good angle. So, but this cocoa will bring them a lot of money. The lowest you can get per acre is 2 million per month. And as you know, for cocoa, it is continuous. Unlike coffee, you keep harvesting every month. Until maybe 75 years of the life. And we have a tendency,
yes, when we are told, now vanilla is marketable, everyone runs.
I don't want that to rush there, because you see who is advising you. Mbozi Zamarwa. The story is when you are drinking the local brew. And Mbozi Zamarwa, somebody is there at the local brew and is telling you, you know, ROUENAH, vanilla is we need to be told the economics of the agribusiness of any product that we are engaged in is very, very important. So that once we deal and we know, we enter the business, because we are entering in as a business. We are entering agriculture as a business. We are not entering agriculture as a subsistence. We want to make money. And because of that, we don't need to be told by people Mbozi Zamarwa. Some politician who is looking for a karuru, but who is not an expert in an area, tells you. Some religious leader who has been told by a friend of his is telling you do this. That will bring us problems. Because once you are going to invest, you have to be advised rightly. And that brings us service delivery. The role of government is paramount in giving information about markets and how to penetrate markets. These our businesses are SMEs, small and medium enterprises. They are households, small. They need advice on marketing. And how to penetrate export markets.
So service delivery is very important, according to you. Now, why is it something you feel like should be talked about at this particular point in time?
Service delivery is important at this particular point in time because why? Like I've said, you know, not that people pay taxes, because you know, in economics, taxes are not quid pro quo. It is not that when you pay taxes, you get equivalent services. How about some of you who use these roads, but you have not been paying anything? So, but not that you pay taxes, not that you are a good citizen. Service delivery is important for all Ugandans or citizens of this country to get out of poverty. To me, that is important. And because government, by the way, invests a lot of money, every year you hear the budget is read. The government puts a lot of money into management of this society called Uganda. And because of that, we need good service delivery so that the benefits of government investment are received in form of good services. If we say that Uganda is still an agricultural country, but we are graduating and we continue graduating, we need to be told how to graduate. You know what I mean? We need to know how we get out of poverty. We need to know how we graduate. And this is the role of government. And the government has invested money in service delivery. So we need efficient and effective delivery of services.
Okay.
But this must be accompanied by government agents and agencies and the ministries and the departments accounting to the people in a way of telling you, this is how we have used your money. This is how we are delivering. This is how society has changed. This is how we have contributed. This is how we have used your money, not as taxes. This is how we have used your national cake to help you develop. If you don't develop, it is your case, but we are providing service delivery. But of course, you know what brings gaps of service delivery? Some of the problems is money is misused.
Yeah.
Some people are in government offices doing private business. Some people, government offices, doing private business, using government resources to do family business. In other words, the money that they are supposed to be using on us, they are using it on themselves. But then you ask, where do you want to put all this money? Where do you want to put all this money? Do you know that you should help the nation? Because this money, next when you die, because you must die, all of us will die, you have left these billions that you stole without even blessings of God. And then do you know that even your children might not be happy and they will even sell them or squander them? So what legacy are you leaving? Why don't you leave a legacy of service delivery so that at least one day you either get a medal in a emperor in heaven or you get the emperor on earth. But also your inner satisfaction that you served.
That you served.
Is important.
Well, thank you so much. Our time has run out, but you know we can never exhaust when ELLY TWINEYO here with the ED of Uganda Export Promotion Board comes around. He's always having a lot to say. Of course, being the fact that he's also an author for the book Why Africa Fails.
Yes.
Now, some of these things that we keep bringing up or looking into, he has written about, he has looked into, and of course, knowing that he's also a man that is doing his service.
Yes, to the nation.
To the nation.
And diligently and honestly. Because Njagala Mpera, I want to get blessings when that is, you know, the heaven thing we'll discuss another time.
Indeed. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, our time has run out. Like I do come Monday to Friday from 9 to 10 a.m. I hope you've picked something from this. And of course, we keep bringing people here to talk about things like this. And now that he's free until I think next month,
yes,
he'll keep coming through to talk to us about this. And of course, in regards to his book, my name is ROUENAH KAJUMBA. I'll be leaving you with our Forex, and I do wish you a good day.
percent